Hey folks, welcome. Want to give this a second to let everybody tune in and also to double check and make sure that my volume, my audio, and my video is actually working. So if I could get a thumbs up here on Instagram, that would be great. Can you guys just give me a wave? Let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. TikTok, can you guys just give me a wave? Let me know you can hear me and see me all right. Good to see you guys. Okay. Thank you. Now, TikTok and Instagram, if you have any trouble on these platforms, switch over to YouTube at Ask Ivy. I'll be able to interact with you easier. My producer will be able to interact with you easier. And ultimately, I'm always trying to shift everyone over to that platform. And let's see, Facebook, we had a ton of problems with. So we are live right now from my personal Facebook page. We never ended up getting the business page up and running. So that's a global Facebook issue. And I don't know when they'll be fixing it. So again, if you're on Facebook and you want to finally make the transition over to my YouTube channel, if you've been waiting or debating on doing that, now would be the time, because I don't really know when they're going to fix that. Okay, so that's also at Ask Ivy. Good. And can I get a thumbs up here on? Okay, I already got one. Thank you so much on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, that you guys can hear me and see me all right. Jill, my beautiful producer, is going to be taking your questions tonight. So welcome, everyone. This is my Dear Ivy show, where I give free advice. If you want my opinion on any topic under the sun, nothing is out of bounds here. You can ask literally about anything. And donations are appreciated. If everybody could go in right now and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, drop a comment of any kind, because it does help me out in the algorithm. If you want to book a party, a psychic fair, or a reading with me, you can go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com to do so. We do have a couple quick announcements while you guys start dropping your questions. So on all platforms, go ahead. You can ask anything. And Jill will be taking your questions and popping them up here on the screen on YouTube. So in the meantime, give you guys a minute to do that. So a couple quick announcements, different events, places where I'll be, different events I'm hosting as well. The Spirits of Allentown walking tour with me doing a paranormal talk about the historical figures that are connected to. If you're familiar with Buffalo, Allentown is a huge hotspot for paranormal activity and great historical buildings and architecture. And there's just a lot of rich history there. That event did sell out a few days ago. So that's it. If you didn't get your tickets in advance, that walking tour is sold out. They are very interested in bringing it back next year. And so keep an eye at explorebuffalo.com for future dates, or follow me. And if not sooner than that, I expect to be back next year. We also have coming up Walk-in Night Psychic Fair. For those of you who used to attend before our lives changed a few years ago and we had to shut everything down, if you used to attend my monthly Walk-in Night Psychic Fairs, you would know how popular they were. There was always a line around the block. Every month I had to turn people away. It's a first come, first serve event. This is the first month we're bringing it back in person in, I want to say 3 years, maybe 4 years. I'm in a warp. So Walk-in Night Psychic Fairs are back for $20. You get 2 readings, 2 healings, a reading and a healing. You can mix or match. And if you come in person to the Ivy League Psychic Academy, you get a historical self-guided tour of the 1882 Victorian funeral home in with your $20. Ghost hunts are also that night here, beginning at 9 p.m. Now, you do have to get your tickets in advance for the ghost hunts. You can find more information on all of this and how to book with your reader and how to pre-book if you don't want to come and risk, it is a first come, first serve event. So us running out of spots, you can pre-book with your reader now. You can go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com to do all of this. So we're excited to be back in person. This event showcases graduates, certified graduates of the Ivy League Psychic Academy. All right. We also have coming up. Oh, that's October 27th. I'm a little loopy. I don't know if I'm saying any of these dates, actually. I think just in my head, maybe. Okay. But that's what? Friday. Okay. From 5 to 8 p.m. and then ghost hunts start at 9. Reverendship training. If you want to become an ordained minister, I'm telling you, this is a very fulfilling service. It's very lucrative. If you're into entrepreneurship, you're looking for a side hustle, you can marry, bury, baptize anywhere internationally if you are ordained through Roots Revival, our church here. And we have our very first reverendship training on November 12th from 5 to 8 p.m. Now, if you can't come here and do it in person, you can also do it online. And if that's not an option, you can get the video download afterward. I am teaching you how to actually perform these ceremonies. When I got ordained, I spent a ton of money, 6 hours. I felt like I lost a portion of my life. It was incredibly dull. I'm still not sure what happened in there sometimes because the religious aspect it did not really suit me. But I walked out of there essentially not knowing how to do anything. I didn't know how to perform a wedding. That's incredibly nerve-wracking. I didn't know how to do my first funeral. Talk about winging it. I mean, with the biggest stuff in life, it was awful the first few years I was out there. So I will train you. We will go and do run-throughs until you're confident enough, okay, to at least know the basics on how to get out there and do this. Also, if you get ordained through Roots Revival with me, you are up for hire. For weddings and baptisms and, funerals and ceremonies and things like this, just like everything else you may do here at the Ivy League Psychic Academy. You have lifelong work opportunities. Okay, anything else coming up, Jill? Copperhead Creek Bar, I'll be there November 7th. Beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. You do have to get your tickets for my gallery show, and you can do walk-ins on the private readings afterward. So go onto my website, and it'll take you right directly to their website. Copperhead Creek Bar, November 7th. I'll be doing a gallery show and private reads. And, okay, you guys are cracking me up. Joelle Porter says, dude, I need help. Something's going on here in the chat. All right. So Christmas on Central, small business Saturday holiday market. This has been super fun. I've been here in the Victorian Funeral Home for, just over 2 years now. And I've done this Christmas on Central Dunkirk event, showcasing businesses from this area. And every year it's a huge hit. They have horse-drawn carriage rides, tons of activities for the kids, a bunch of vendors. This year it's gotten so big, we're actually in a couple different buildings as well as out on the street, tons of like amazing food. There's a huge Puerto Rican population out here. So, really great. It's just a good time. All right. So you may want to check that out. You could pre-book a reading with me if you want to up on my website, or if you want to come on down for a walk-in reading. Hopefully there will still be openings Saturday, November 25th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bring the kids, family event. You'll love it. Anything else? Or are we ready to begin? Okay. Also, Spirits with Spirits. This is the last one I'll do. Okay. Spirits with Spirits Psychic Fair at Margin Manor Winery, the hauntingly beautiful Margin Manor out in Appleton, New York. Certified readers from the Ivy League Psychic Academy are going to be offering tarot, psychic mediumship, orograph readings, past life readings. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. You could pre-book with them, or you can, try your hand at a walk-in, but that's going to be October 29th. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. If you're tuning in late, I'm Ivy Rivera. I am a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk, and this is my Dear Ivy show where I give free advice on any topic under the sun. So if you want to hear my opinion on something, nothing is out of bounds. However, these are not technically psychic mediumship readings. Okay, you're going to have to go to my website to book one of those or catch one of my other shows. All right, Jill, my beautiful producer, if you want to start popping these up, we'll get going. So Charlotte asks, why do I attract needy or dysfunctional men, even though they don't start off that way? Is it something that I'm doing wrong? Why can't I attract quality? So I think a couple different things are happening here, and this is a really common question. So we have to understand that what people present, that's the first thing, okay? So what people are presenting to you is not who they really are. And research shows this is far more common for men than women. So women may present more of who they actually are in a dating relationship dynamic, whereas men tend to portray what they think you want to see, what they think you want to hear, and what they actually maybe want to be. It takes approximately 3 months before the mask comes off. Research also proves that's typical, not only for the mask to come off because people can't keep up a front forever, but also for the sort of chemical attraction that two people have to each other. The passion wears off at 3 months. So it's not that you overlooked it. It's literally that it takes about that long for the truth to be revealed and for the magic potion and the spell to wear off, right? And this charming prince becomes like a rat. And then, like, I don't know, you're left with one glass slipper on the stairs. You're just like running for your life. It's just a horrible episode to have replay over and over again, but don't blame yourself. I think the only thing that you can really do in a situation like this, is to get quicker and faster, more cutthroat about recognizing it. You should be looking for it. It doesn't make you a witch. It doesn't make you crazy, paranoid, or negative. Okay. You should be looking for it. That's what we're supposed to do when we collect data and research on something. It's like a hypothesis and then it's becoming an actual scientific fact, right? So patterns are patterns, and patterns never lie, and they can always be expected and counted upon. Even if we are talking about different individuals, I think we like to say, oh, well, let's not judge, or let's not label, or let's not categorize. Let's definitely do that. Okay. Because I don't care how many people you're talking to. If you notice a pattern in a few, I can almost 150% guarantee it's going to be a pattern in all. Why would you even take the risk of overlooking something like that, right? The odds of it not being true are, like, I'm sure far less, it's like winning the lottery, right? So I think the other thing that's probably going on here with you is that you give off a high vibrational healing energy. And this is true also for all level 3-4 empaths, for example, right? Intuitive people. If you give off a high vibrational energy and you're a power player in the world, and you're really kind of a boss in your own life, and you really own who you are, who you are, you bring that type of energy out into the world, you're going to attract needy and weak people. Now, when this starts to happen in love, what they don't realize and what you aren't realizing is that they should be looking at you as a mentor. They should be like paying you hourly to life coach them or to assist them. But maybe due to the patriarchy, maybe due to ego, maybe due to sex drive, maybe due to, passion. Nobody wants to admit that in a dating relationship. So what they do instead is they come and they're drawn to you and they start to siphon your energy. What's really unfortunate is that a lot of the people that you may be like helping, or you think you're helping, first of all, you weren't supposed to do that at all, because you were looking to date. You were looking to find a partner. You were looking to find an equal. So don't lower your standards. However, they're not often going to, most of the time, okay, like ever accept your help, accept your teaching, accept your guidance. And they're not going to want to learn from you. They're just going to want you to do the work for them. So you got to cut it off sooner, okay? But it's a typical problem. All right, we're going to move on to another one. This is from an I Spine on Instagram. I'm in the process of looking to buy a home. I made 2 offers and both were outbid. How do I know when the timing is right to make a purchase? So that's a great question. I have a free mini class here on YouTube at Ask Ivy called Divine Timing, When to Make a Move. Now, the thing is, even after you watch that and you start applying those skills to making a move, you're kind of looking at it wrong. And I think what's really going on here with you is that you're looking at it from a black or white perspective, right or wrong, left or right. Did I do it right or did I not do it right? You may have done it right. You maybe were supposed to look at those houses. Maybe it's helping you to get more insight into where you actually belong or what doesn't fit. Okay. There's a lot more to this story than what meets the eye. So don't necessarily just be like, things that don't work out in life, I must have screwed up on, or it maybe wasn't meant for me, or someone took it out from under me, not necessarily. This is part of the bigger picture. However, yes, there is such a thing as divine timing, and it is entirely possible. Again, these aren't psychic mediumship readings or financial readings, so I'm not going to get into that aspect, but it is possible you missed the boat. And often, this happens when we're hesitant or double-minded, or we're dealing with a love partner and we got to wait on them to give the okay, or you got a broker who's weak or not fast enough or something. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. It's a stressful situation when you really have to know that the minute spirit tells you that the trigger's been pulled and the gun's gone off, the race has begun. You got to be on it. Okay, so don't delay. All right, we're going to move on to another question here from a Bev. 6 months ago, someone put a curse on me and it's destroying my life. What can I do? So this is one I get asked really commonly. Curses are not a real thing, okay? I'd be dead, okay? Long ago. Long ago. It's not real. That's the first issue. And if you've ever watched, there's a movie, it's actually like one of my favorite movies ever. It's called The Skeleton Key. Can I get a raise of hands in the comment section? Because every time I say this, people are like, what? I've never even heard of it. The Skeleton Key. Okay, let me know if you've seen it. This is a sort of psychological thriller based on mind manipulation and mind control and the coercion of thought, so that if the girl in the movie, for example, believed that she could be cursed, believed that she could be taken over or possessed, then it was so. And if she didn't believe, or she refused to ever, even start believing, then it would have no effect on her. So it's a lot like that. I think that if you understand that there's someone in your life who's throwing negative energy at you, or doing like psychic attacks, or talking trash behind your back, or just really hates you, if that is the case, I think you need to look more closely at that relationship dynamic and sort of kiss the snake, look the demon in the face, stop running from it, address the bully. Now, you don't have to literally do this with the person. You do it more energetically. You could bind them. You could cut cords with them. You could use blocking exercises and techniques to protect yourself. You could do reversals. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you could do. But I think that believing and adopting a falsehood that this person is able to control you, destroy your life, and attack you is not only not true, okay? And so you're living in a false reality, and that's not good for your karma. That's not good for your law of attraction in the universe. You're attracting more problems to you, but you're also feeding it. Okay, so you're feeding other paranormal activity and problems, and that could end up being a very real issue for you. So we don't feed these things with fear. We get empowered, we get educated, and we get the upper hand. Okay, so yeah, not true. But yes, people can try to send psychic attacks, and they can hate you, and they could try to, cause problems in your life. But it's still not a curse in the way that we typically think of it. Not at all. We have a question coming in here from an Edgar Velardes. Any advice, please, regarding channeling and giving others healing messages without being too intrusive? Well, I'm probably not the best at giving advice on that. I feel like I do cross a lot of lines with my clients, but they paid for it and they asked for it. Most of them like that. And I think that's why they come to me. So I think if somebody comes to you for healing, there is no way to be too intrusive. You're stating the facts. You're making it clear cut. You're giving them a roadmap to go forward. You're giving them the tools that they need. And sometimes they need a kick in the pants or a reality check or a wake up call. And that's all part of, giving the healing. And so, I think that if you're in a situation, whether it be like clinical or it be more like a healing, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like, energy work in a spa maybe, or if you're at a chiropractic's office or you're, at a massage therapy place and you're feeling inclined, whether you do like energy work or Reiki or one of those practices, you're feeling inclined to give messages, but it's not really appropriate to do so. I think if you're in that type of a situation, you should really ask your guides whether or not you should be speaking at all. And you have to remember that when somebody comes to you for a service, they're expecting that service and not something else. And that may be why they came. They felt like that was a safety zone for them. So you have to feel out whether or not it's going to be welcomed or it's something you definitely should not be doing. And it's, going to be a detriment. But I think that your guides are going to be very honest with you. You're either going to feel like, don't do it, like a big red flag, like, don't you dare pull back. Every now and again, I will literally feel my guides go, shut your mouth and just observe and take notes. Do not speak. And I never cross that line. I don't care how much I want to. You can't do that. Okay. There are harsh consequences for that. And they tend to be immediate. I think that you have to get in the practice of doing that. Okay. Before it becomes quick and easy and obvious. And yes, I can, or no, I cannot. All right. So practice makes progress in an area like that. We're not all Long Island medium, right? And we don't all have show editors, and half her stuff doesn't go that well, I hear from behind the scenes anyways, right? She's amazing, but you can't just go up to people and give unsolicited anything in this world. It's really often not appreciated. So within bounds. We have a question here from Dan. Is it normal to enjoy and want more apocalyptic and warlike dreams? Is it normal to enjoy and want more? I think that what may be going on with you is a couple different things. I think that a lot of men appreciate that type of thing. They like, or, maybe it's a testosterone thing, so not necessarily just men, maybe some women too, but this is a more common thing that I see with my male clients is that they may have prophecy, apocalyptic dreams, a lot of psychic visions about the future and terrible warlike conditions and end times, whether it be climate change or, all these horrible things that are going to happen. And men do tend to enjoy it more. Okay. So yes, this wanting more of it. I think that could be tied maybe to that DNA, that testosterone, that desire to fight when you maybe live in a society that doesn't really incorporate a lot of fighting, which is good. I mean, good. You maybe have a cush life, maybe you didn't grow up in a situation where you had to fight, on the streets or family or at school and stuff like this all the time. Maybe you didn't join the military or become a professional at sports. And so maybe you're just not getting that out. Okay. But I also think that it could be a sign of toxicity. So maybe take a closer look. Is this toxic behavior that you enjoy that type of negativity? Are there other aspects of your life where you're feeding negativity instead of peaceful conditions? Make sure too that in these dreams you're actually protecting people or you're fighting on the right side. I would say that if you catch yourself always being on the wrong side of a battle, the wrong side of history, that's a you problem. It's time for therapy. It's time to do some regression and shadow work. I would also say that a lot of people are becoming numb to the apocalyptic dreams and visions. And I've put out quite a few videos and classes on this because we're literally preparing to be in it. And I think one of the things that we do is we try to numb out by sort of embracing the imagery and, allowing ourselves to get more comfortable in the discomfort of it. So maybe you've taken that also to another level. Where you're almost like thinking you want it, but in reality, you're preparing yourself to go into battle. Okay. We have another question coming in here. I see some interesting ones here in the comment section too. Voodoo dolls and whatnot. Mia Rose wants to know, I feel like I'm trapped in a time loop and I need help getting out. Also, why do I have so many gifts and abilities and can't tap into them? Is something blocking me, like people, places, or circumstances? Okay, so I'm gonna have to sort of break this down. This is really like two different questions. Let me just go to the second one, okay? Because I'm not gonna have time to do both of these. But so why do you have so many gifts and abilities and you can't tap into them? I'm telling you, check out the psychic mediumship course here. It is 28 weeks. It's going to help you break through in psychic, mediumistic, and empathic abilities. Everybody ends up here eventually because yes, you have a million blocks. You have blocks. The method that we use here, the PEC method, the psychology of energy communication method, is designed to remove the blocks. Now, I don't tell you when I'm removing the blocks. I expose you to a series of exercises and education, and then, you start playing more with the intuitive intelligence and the clairs so that you can get back in touch with it. But the blocks begin at birth. So unless you are born into maybe an indigenous tribe that still embraces intuitive intelligence, okay, you're born maybe into a religious family that supports psychic mediumship, you're one of the people who've gotten blocked since birth, okay? Even if you had been born into one of those families, by the time you go off to school or society gets at you, good luck, all right? Because it's coming at you from every angle. Your parents are telling you monsters aren't real and that there are no, ghosts in the closet or skeletons under the bed, or that, the dreams that you're having aren't real, and that there's no such thing. And then you go off to school and they start blocking you there. I had teachers contacting my mother from the time I was 4. When I was 5, they started sending me off to doctors. This went on all through my teenage years, all through my 20s, into my 30s. I was never diagnosed with mediumship. Okay. So they will tell you that there's something wrong with you. So now you're getting all these misdiagnoses, okay? And so the educational system is directly connected to the medical system, all right? And then you've got the religious system and the government up on top of that, telling you, no, it's evil, you're gonna go to hell, and support this. Instead of that, you don't want to be ostracized from your church or your community or your family. So you can't talk about any of this. Just imagine, those are just a couple of the things that go on. Just imagine how many blocks that has produced in your intuitive little heart from the time it really got activated at about 3 years old. You got hit again and again and again and again and again and again until you may not even know who the heck you are anymore. Especially if you're a highly intuitive person, you've detached from so many aspects of your soul, of your personality, that who knows what's even going on anymore. Okay. And yeah, you have to do the work. You have to learn to unblock. It's like eating an elephant one bite at a time. So hope to see you at class. All right, we have another question coming in here from Lorna Cruz. Hi, I went to a store in Dunkirk recently where they have 3 old African dolls. I got a bad headache, tight chest. Once I left, I was fine. What type of energy can this be? It could be a million different things. You're assuming it came from the doll. I would say it probably came from the people that were there and or the atmosphere itself, which could include other objects as well. Okay, so sometimes we're picking up on other people's energy. We're picking up on the energy from an atmosphere. We're picking up on spirits if they're not clean and high vibrational there. And then we see something and we notice it's, caught our attention, and we attribute everything to that object, right? Or to that one thing that person said, or to that one place where we were. And it could have actually been a whole bunch of stuff going on simultaneously. And you've just focused in on the dolls. I think that, it's also important to ask yourself a lot of questions. And I don't feel like you've really done enough of that about what happened that day. Okay. Who were you with? Did you feel comfortable going in there? What was your point? What's the objective? Like, why were you in there? What are you looking to do with your spiritual development? Is that the type of atmosphere for you? I mean, and bring your guides in on this, bring your ancestors in on this, really listen to your higher mind on what went wrong that day, and what you want in the future with experiences like this, what you will address, what you will no longer address. And, ultimately, I think, and this is for everybody, you shouldn't be willy-nilly going into every old place and talking to every old reader and touching things or letting people touch you or picking up objects. You know what I mean? Like, none of that. Don't touch anybody. Don't let anybody touch you. Don't touch objects. That's not, if that were your doll, you take it by the hand, you plop it in a bag, you get it home, and you cleanse the hell out of it, okay, before you ever even deal with it. You got to get everything off of it that was there before, okay? So when you just allow yourself to be immersed in an environment where you've got a lot of maybe high vibrational people coming through, but also low vibrational people coming through, you're going to pick up on it. Okay, that's it. So you have to be more careful. All right. We're going to move on to another question here from the Metaphysical. Love that. On TikTok, can the mind work over one's life chart? For example, my chart says I have to suffer in my life. Can the mind overcome that? You can't get out of, I get this same question in a little bit of a twist of a different way every single show I do like this. Every single show. Basically what I feel like you're asking is, can I get out of my karma? Nope. Not in a million years. But you are meant to go through that karma to reach the higher vibration, to transmute the negativity into positivity, okay? To take what is, in your case, you're saying suffering, and to alchemize it into power, knowledge, growth, wisdom. And if you do that, I highly doubt you would be asking in this way. I think that you would be saying more that these were uncomfortable circumstances that I chose, but I get it now. And it was incredibly valuable. And I could never have gotten the value out of it that I have any other way. First of all, than going through it, but also other than having that type of an experience. Okay, so we have to stop thinking about whether or not we can back out of what we've gotten ourselves into. We have to stop, because that's what got you in it in the first place. Okay. All right, let's go to another one here from Lucy. How do you know if you should cord cut with someone? So we just did a cord cutting church service on, was it last Sunday? There was something in my coffee. Like, this keeps happening to me. I think I'm done with my coffee for the night. How sad. So there was a church service. Maybe it was Sunday. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. So it was on, Roots Revival Interfaith, and we did cord cutting, and it was sort of like how to do it, why cords may come back. And we talked a lot about when you should. And so you may want to go back and review that. I have a class up on the website also called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. That is a 2-hour training in how to do it properly. I think when you realize that a person, a thought, a situation in your life, an addiction, whatever it is, when you realize that this thing is taking you out. It's dragging your energy down. It's siphoning you. It is preventing you. It's become a block, an obstacle, a hindrance to your growth, to your prosperity. I don't care what or who it is. It's got to go. Okay. So the thing with cord cutting is that there are degrees, and you can, cut cords with some aspects of that problem or that relationship. It doesn't mean that you have to completely, like exit and go no contact. However, that is often the best approach. And sometimes that is required if it has become toxic and you actually want the cord cutting to work. You will have to follow through with no contact. So I think that as far as people go, you can, cord cut to protect your energy from that person. And a big red flag, a big warning sign that it's time to do so is if they are literally or energetically reaching out to you all the time to tug and pull at your energy. That means this person will show up in your dreams. Signs and symbols and synchronicities will show up about them all the time. They're basically energetically stalking you. Okay. And they may from time to time be literally reaching out to you to see if they could hoover and suck you back in. And that's always a terrible idea. Okay. To respond to that and to give them any more power. So you can sense when somebody's doing that with you. Another red flag that someone is pulling and tugging at your energy is when you're thinking of them a lot. And this isn't someone you want to be thinking about at all. And there was no other obvious trigger. Okay, that's a sign they're doing it again. They're pulling and tugging. Don't be shy to cut that cord. All right. Hopefully that helps. So important for us to learn how to cord cut. So important. Hunter Santiago wants to know, hi, Ivy. I'm finally away from my ex for over a week now. What's the best way to get myself together and move forward? When we talk about coming out of a relationship, there's a lot of chatter about taking time to heal. And I don't really invest in that a ton because I think that the idea of solitude, right? Like taking time away to just be off and by yourself and just to heal from this thing is ridiculous. It doesn't even work that way, right? So it reminds me of, getting my cat back from the vet and they say, lock him in a room and don't let him be around anything he loves for the next week. And, well, what's he going to do? He's going to chew at the wound. He's going to go crazy. He doesn't have any, you have to let yourself just sort of do what you want to do. Let yourself feel what you have to feel, give yourself permission while you're out and about in the world to be sloppy, to be crying, to be full of rage, to be in grief and mourning and, to laugh and to allow the universe and the people in it and the circumstances that are coming your way. Let the universe heal you through that interaction because you don't know what the tide may bring. You don't know what type of it could be people coming your way. It could be another lover coming your way. It could be just a great experience or a great joke. Okay. Or like a wonderful dessert. I don't know, an entertaining opportunity. Anything could come your way that helps your healing process. Do not hide away. Do not decide there's an undetermined amount, of time I'm going to spend doing my healing. Just get out there. Just keep going. Okay. Just keep moving. It's like, what is that, Dory? Just keep swimming. But I think that it is not at all uncommon. And we see this with breakups, if especially you were in something for a long time or it was super draining, you learned a lot of lessons, you've gone through a ton of growth by cutting the person off or by, deciding that you want to focus more on self-love. It is in those moments that our soulmates show up. So it is very possible, okay, that a brand new lover of value would come in and be the next stepping stone in your life. So how many of you, and I would love to see in the comments, how many times have you ever left a relationship and you thought you were going to be crying for like 6 months and instead you met an amazing, fantastic lover, right? Immediately straight out of the gate. And you were like, I can't even believe that happened, right? How many times that happened? That person was sent for a reason. All right. So we do set it up this way. So just get out there, have fun, pamper yourself. Let's move on to another one from Crystal. What do you do when you feel like something really bad is about to happen, but you can't figure out what, who, where, or why? So we have to work more with our psychic abilities. You have to be able to figure out who, what, when, where, why, how. Okay. And the way to do that is by asking the right questions. So don't forget, your psychic ability doesn't require any spirits to be involved, your ancestors to come and visit, clear communication with the other side. Psychic ability is constant. It is always there. It has always been there. It will always be there. When you tap into it, you can access any type of information that you need to, but you've got to train yourself to do so instead of being like, what, I hope I find out, or praying or asking the universe, like, show me. Go into your higher mind and use your psychic ability to get that information. So one of the things you could do is just to sit down, maybe take a notepad and a pen while you're learning how to do this and get better at the accuracy and the detail and the timelines. Write it down so that you can like prove it to yourself that it worked out that way. Okay. That'll help with the blocks that you create in lack of confidence in trusting your gut instinct. So you just sit and you say, why am I feeling this way? What is coming? What is going to happen? Is there anyone involved that I should be watching? When will it happen? What are the details? And don't dictate beyond that. You simply treat your psychic ability and your higher mind as though you're having a conversation with somebody else. If you were having coffee with a friend of yours and you were to ask them a question, you shouldn't be talking until they're done answering or it's your turn again. Don't stumble over your intuition and cut it off and bombard it with more questions or tell your own stories. Hush. You ask, you receive, and then you move on to the next question so that you can get some detail and depth. Okay, it's there. You're not accessing it. Especially if it feels like that big of a deal. There is clearly something going on. Okay, so again, it's about blocks. All right, we have another one here from a Joelle Porter. How can we figure out what our strengths are? Strengths in life, strengths in spiritual abilities, strengths in anything, I guess, is pretty much, the same answer, I guess. If we're talking just about life in general and what like strengths you have, I think you want to look at what you feel passionate about. You want to look at what's been a constant in your life. And you want to look at why people maybe come to you, or if you've ever had a horseshoe up your rear end, or you always end up in a similar situation or position, just start reading the patterns and really understand too, that if there is something that you're really strong at, it would have also been a point of attack your whole life. If it's something you're really supposed to do within your life contract, and it's going to feel like uncharted territory, it's going to feel like something brand new. When we come here, for example, to speak or to lead or to wake up the masses, we get attacked in the throat chakra. So from birth, people are silencing us and stepping on our throats and blocking us from believing that we have anything to say. Okay, it's constant obstacles in that area. And that's a sign that that's a direction you're supposed to be going in. Okay, now also pay attention to where other people told you, oh, this is something you should do, professionally, or these are your strengths, or I think this is what you're going to be. I think this is what you are. This is a common problem in school, whether it's a guidance counselor or whatever, career, counselors, like people always want to tell you what you're supposed to do in your life and what you're supposed to become and what you should go to college for and whatnot. And it's usually dead wrong. It's usually dead wrong, because what they're telling you is where your current skill set lies. Your current skill set is based on your past lives. You already did all that. Of course you're good at that because it's dead done over with. Okay, what you're supposed to be moving on to is where you have some fire in the belly. All right, we're going to move on to another one from an Alice. No matter how much I sleep, I never feel rested. Doctors can't find anything wrong. How do we know if we are working in our sleep, and can we make it stop? So yes, I have 2 classes on this. One is called Meet Your Guides and the other one is called Coffee with Your Angels, and they're both up on my website. So I talk in both of those classes about, and then Dreams class, I talk about it some there as well. What can happen is that you end up, if you have a light worker's contract or you have a healer's contract, meaning you came to earth to do healing work, when you sleep at night, unfortunately, you work. You work in other dimensions, you work in the future, you do past life healing. So you're going forward, backward, this way, that way, other dimensions, astral travel. You may have sleep apnea, sleep paralysis because of the astral travel. It's an endless smorgasbord of like work that never ends. So this like never ending tendency to either be out there doing something on repeat, almost like I couldn't accomplish it. I didn't accomplish it yet. Again, go again, try again, try again, try again. This can go on for hours, days, weeks. You may also find that you're working sort of a little more in harmony. It's less exhausting than that, but you're working with like a group of people. And you may remember having many meetings on rooftops, meetings with like clocks, or tops of buildings, like in the sky or in the air. There's always in like a castle or a school or a big building or an auditorium, there's often a lot of groups of people, right? Many different groups of people. And you have your people there that you work with and guides, not only your guides, but other people's guides. And you may come together in these meetings and then the work gets distributed. Who's going to do what? And you have a little bit more of a say in it, but then you go off and you do these things. You're working with people who are in your life now. You're working with people who are alive on earth now, but you're not really connected to them. Even in situations like that, you're doing exhausting work trying to get your part of it done. And because it's a collaboration, that can be feeling like you're constantly trying to maybe convince, somebody of something. And you have to learn how to say no. You have to learn how to, not forever and on everything. That's never going to happen, nor would that be healthy for you, because you're here for a purpose to do this. Okay. You're also doing it while you're awake. And that's probably what's really exhausting, is that you need to have better boundaries. If you don't have good boundaries at night, you don't have good boundaries during the day. So stop allowing situations to siphon you. Check out empathic awareness class. Also, don't absorb energy from atmospheres, objects, other people, the deceased. Don't allow all that to come into your energy field. And you got to set a tone. Okay. Lucid dreaming techniques. Again, check out the dreams class. You've got to set a tone at night that this is how my sleep schedule is going to go. If there is work for you to do, you have to be more of a willing participant and less feeling like you're going along for the ride. All right. We have another question here from a Priscilla. How can I figure out if it's best to save my relationship or move on? I have a similar answer for this. Okay, similar to what I had told someone earlier in this show. And that is that person had asked about cord cutting and how do you know it's time? So it's time to leave a relationship that you've been trying to save when it is making you sick, physically, mentally, emotionally. If you're drained, if you see a pattern in the other person where there's not progress. Bye. Sorry. I can't. No can do. Okay. If they can't grow, you've got to go. And the reason for this is not that you're heartless. Okay. It's that you have a responsibility coming to earth to take care of you and to continue to grow and fulfill your contract. You can't do that with an anchor. You can't. And often they're not growing from choice because they're just milking it off of you. They're just riding your coattails. They're just siphoning from you. They just want you to be the one who's pulling all the weight, and they're coming along for a free ride. Okay. So no, definitely not. Relationships, especially romantic relationships, there has to be mutual give and take. There has to be. That's the deal. It's not like a parent to child dynamic. They may want it to be that way, but it isn't. Parent to child dynamic, you owe that child care, right? You agreed to take care of them. Later in life, maybe they can take care of you. That would be nice reciprocity. But a romantic connection is never that. It was never meant to be that. It will never be that. Okay. So you got to treat it like a bit. I treat my romantic partnerships like a business. This is the contract. This is what I need. A, B, C, and D. This is what I'm giving. A, B, C, and D. We got a working contract. We're good. We don't. Bye. That's it. So you got to just get faster at this. Okay. All right. We have another question coming in here from a Miranda Reed. If life is one mess after another, are we off track? How can we make it stop? It depends on the kind of messes you're having. If you can honestly make a list of all your tragic situations and messes in life right now, and if you could sit down with each one of them individually and sit down with your joy guide watches over your mental and emotional well-being, okay? And you can break it down one at a time, and you ask, am I causing this? Am I feeding this problem? Is there something I'm not seeing or doing or listening to? Am I preventing something here? Ask these questions. And it will become blatantly obvious to you what it is that you're doing to feed it, to cause it. Not maybe cleansing something out is causing it, for example. Not being willing to detox and let go of the old may be causing it. You don't know what's going to come up necessarily, but I would guarantee that in the back of your mind and in your heart and in your gut, you already know which aspects of your life you are causing to be such a problem, right? And a block and tumultuous, and which areas of your life are simply there as part of your growth process. I would also say this. Sometimes we can't achieve in one area because we're deliberately choosing to fail in another. So when my clients come to me, they're often like, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working, but I'm working so hard. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I look at everything and I'm like, this is the problem. I'm like, why didn't you fix this? And they're like, oh, well, I don't want to, or I'm afraid, or da, 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 da. I don't know what's going to happen next. Or like, it's just, a thorn in my side and I don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, who told us that everything was separate? Okay. Everything is connected. It's like a big spider web is life, right? Everything is connected. If you cannot have prosperity in one area, it could be that there's something else you were supposed to do in another area. So clean it up. Clean up what you can and watch and see if everything doesn't flourish. Do we have any more coming in? Mia Rose says, makes sense. Okay, good. I'm glad that helped. And do we have any more questions? Jill, we are at time. Okay, excellent. You guys, I have such a good time doing this show with you. Again, it's fairly new. I think we've, maybe done like 4 of these. I'm going to keep it going as long as you guys remain interested. In the meantime, if you want to book an actual reading with me, you can go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Same thing goes for psychic fairs or parties. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Spirit.